Start spreading the news. And to be a part of it, nothing you can't do. New York, York. Okay. Let's talk New York. Alright, so welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be going over New York. About a month ago, before finals, I had the pleasure of going to the Big Apple for about 4 days. My girlfriend Natalie joined me for the last 2 days, and I filmed just about everything I could while being in New York City, so here we go. Before heading off for my trip, I only packed a backpack, packed light, make it a lot easier with nothing but the essentials before making it to JFK. Now, at JFK, it was my first time at this airport, and admittedly, I was a little lost trying to find the Jamaica plane train, which leads me to my hand-drawn map. Starting with the Jamaica plane train, before switching to the E and then to the W, all the way to Rosario's. Rosario's is a cool little neighborhood deli, kind of what you imagine for a New York deli, having groceries, pie by the slice, and good old sandwiches. Of course, I had a little chicken parm, by little I mean big, mozzarella, red sauce. It was all really great. After finishing up at Rosario's, I hopped back on the W and transferred to the 6 train to check into my hostel, the Nolita Express. As a college student, I wanted to budget my money some before my girlfriend came to town. I will not be making this mistake again. Hallways, extremely dark, except for these little lights above, which would be on all night. The rooms were about the size of my wingspan. But this trip is for exploring New York. So exploring New York I did, taking the 6th to 86th Street to get a little hot dog and smoothie at the legendary Papaya King, operating since 1932. After a quick snack break, I hopped onto the 4 to head up to the Bronx for my evening entertainment and baseball mecca, Yankees versus Royals. I am a huge Yankees fan, and this was my second time visiting the stadium. Massive lines out front for the free swag, this Yankees hockey jersey, which had people cutting in line, annoying and disrespectful. I watched some of the Royals batting practice before a 4-2 Yankees win. Also, for a nightcap for the evening, I had a little birria from a food truck near my hostel, and I gotta say, pretty decent Mexican food outside of California. Saturday, I woke up not so bright and not so early, but early enough to go to Apollo Bagels in the East Village. Service was quick, bagel was immaculate, not too much cream cheese, the tomato was a stunning color, and the olive oil so fragrant, that fresh pressed stuff, awesome. Now the next part of this trip is really just me wandering through New York City, which for New York is never really a bad idea. The next stop on the trip for me was the 9/11 Memorial. I am not only a huge nerd about memorials, making this a must-go-to, but it was also designed by a Georgia Tech grad. Sting 'em. After heading uptown, I explored a lovely little farmer's market, checking out more of the great architecture in the area, walking through parks that are full of bloom, before grabbing my obligatory travel smoothie and heading up further north to Central Park. Luckily for me, it was a mild spring day, sun was out, partly cloudy, and it was great to see everybody out in Central Park enjoying the lovely weather and, of course, all that beautiful green too. Now, after being out most of the day, I headed back to my hostel to do some work before heading out to Brooklyn to visit Al Aqsa, a Palestinian eatery. While at Al Aqsa, I had a little chicken shawarma plate, and by little, I mean it was huge, of course. I also enjoyed a juice before heading across the street to my Habibis at Nut Hut to pick up some traditional sweets that I would eat back at the hostel. Now, Sunday is the day Natalie flew into New York City, so my first objective was to pick her up at JFK before checking into our hotel in Brooklyn and then exploring town, our first stop being Il Leone for dinner. At Il Leone, we shared a lovely batch of meatballs before having our Brooklyn hipster expensive pizzas. I should state very expensive. And finished with a tasty bowl of sea salt gelato. All of this was the perfect meal to fuel up for a train up to Manhattan, to stroll around town, and to take in the glorified mess that is Times Square. Now, the movie that got myself in a New York state of mind before Frontier put me in cargo hold and shipped me all the way up to JFK is the classic When Harry Met Sally. So Cat's Delicatessen, here we come. For me, getting an egg cream while waiting in line, watching my cutter go to work, and enjoying a pastrami sando in this meat mecca was the ultimate tourist experience for me. Incredibly satisfied. Is Katz very busy and more than a little touristy? Hell yes. But for me, it's so much fun to go to such an iconic place and having everybody involved in the fanfare. Now Monday is our only full day in New York for Nat and I, so that means doing all the right things, starting with a bagel at Utopia Bagels that had a chalky milk, a bacon, egg, and cheese, or a BEC, and of course, it was on an everything bagel. After an overcrowded Utopia Bagels, taking the 6 train all the way to the lovely Met, the Metropolitan Museum of Art, where we enjoyed the Egyptian collection, statues, and wandered the lovely halls of sculpture and so many different types of beautiful paintings. Now, Met finished, we took a lovely stroll around the beautiful Central Park together on a nice, chillier day, where I will throw it now to my infield correspondent, John Walter Thatcher.
Hi, my name's John Walter Thatcher, and if you didn't know, Central Park is not only beautiful, but you can crush some boulders here too. You can stop filming.
After Central Park, we headed back down to Chinatown via the D train for what turned out to be a very underwhelming Chinese dinner. Duck, tofu, noodles, not as good as Californian Chinese, I must say. This was all made up for by great cookies at Levain Bakery, which was a quick walk up north from our Chinese. We took the cookies to go before enjoying the classic chocolate chip and the chocolate peanut butter in our hotel before putting our heads down to sleep. Day 4 for me in New York, last day of the trip together. We got up early, taking the 4 train to Bowling Green so we could board the ferry to the Statue of Liberty and Ellis Island. I had to check out the museum, learn a little bit about Miss Liberty before doing our sightseeing on the island. Zooming over to Ellis Island, which I find a lot cooler personally. We looked at the exhibitions on immigration, checking out the different maps and different installations they had before heading outside to the memorial, again, another memorial, where I found some of my ancestors who immigrated from Denmark. Pretty cool. And with an Uber to LaGuardia Airport, our trip was finished. Thank you so much for watching today's video. It takes a lot of time and effort for me to put together a script and to edit it. So to whomever watches this, thank you so much for watching and I greatly appreciate it. Subscribe, comment, like, all those good things. It helps me know what y'all want to see. and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.